creepy and cool TikToks that will blow your mind. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go!
Disclaimer: this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research, as these clips haven't been fact-checked.
But I said we need to save TikTok because we're talking about a tremendous... Who in this audience goes with TikTok? Many? If TikTok is worth nothing, zero, without an approval. You know, if you don't approve, they're out of business, they're worth nothing. If you do approve, they're worth like $1 trillion. They're worth some crazy number. So I said, I'll approve, but let the United States of America own 50% of TikTok. I'm approving on behalf of the United States. And the United States will do what we call a joint venture. And there's no risk. We're not putting up any money. All we're doing is giving them the approval, without which they don't have anything. So, I don't know, it sounds like that works. What do you think? Good? Thanks,
That's the catch, folks. If governments own 50%, then they will try and control it.
TikTok is back. You know, I did a little TikTok thing. We have a guy, TikTok Jack. He's a young kid, like 21 years old. And we hired this guy, and I went on TikTok. Can you believe what I'll do to win an election? We won the youth vote by 36 points. So I like TikTok. I like it. I like it. I had a slightly good experience, wouldn't you say?
I mean, he's a businessman. I don't blame him. And he's not even in office and done more than Biden.
Just checking in to make sure that everyone is on the same page, that they're banning TikTok right as we're starting to hear about apparently a mothership in the Gulf of Mexico, and we're getting all of these videos that are popping up.
Wow, look at that.
It's just, it seems like we're at the season finale of Earth, and we're not going to know what's going on. So, but it has been a lot of fun. It has. I am very sad.
It's gonna be okay.
I'm gonna miss you guys. Okay, love you. Bye.
They don't want us to tell you it's Project Blue Beam.
I'm going to show you a video of a real person during the actively dying phase. Now, before you scroll on, hear me out. I am trying to change the way we look at death and dying. I believe that education will decrease fear. So many people have no idea what it looks like to die a natural death and what the body actually does when this is going on. So when they do witness this with their loved ones, they are scared and they think their loved one is suffering and something is wrong, when really there's just natural things happening, and it happens with everybody. I'm going to describe the video for you, and then I'll give you a trigger warning before I show it. So this video is giving a great example of the changes in breathing, the terminal secretions, and just how someone may look when they're close to death. So this gentleman's sitting in a chair, his chin's to his side, his mouth's open, he's breathing a little heavy and a little noisily. Very, very normal. So trigger warning, here is the video. That video is a perfect video of what someone can look like at the end of life. He is sitting up, he can't really hold his head up, his mouth's open, he's breathing a little deeper, his breath sounds a little more wet, all very normal. Why am I showing you these things? I'm trying to normalize what death and dying can look like at home on hospice. I have found that the more we educate, the less we fear it, and I'm trying to change the way we look at death and dying. Don't forget to like and follow if you want to see more of these videos. Love you guys.
If you're in Christ, you're not afraid of death. By the way, I saw my dad when he passed away.
61-year-old woman that everyone calls the human devil, a trafficker so evil, she would even sell her own son. July 14th, 2023. It's kind of a strange day. Everybody is gathered in this big, giant room, and they're all hoping, God willing, fingers crossed, that the 61-year-old lady croaks and dies. They are gathered here today to hope that this 61-year-old senior citizen plops dead. They hope that they put her in the van and just kill her. Listen, that's what people are saying and wishing for. That's not what I'm saying. It's just not exactly what you would call normal. But 61-year-old Hua is not normal. She's got this skeletal frame, to put it lightly. She resembles an anatomically correct medical skeleton wearing clothes. Her shoulder bones look like they're gonna break through her thin white shirt. And even though it's summer, she's so old and frail that she just looks cold. If you know nothing about this woman, but you know that this entire room wants her to die, you might think that everybody else is the problem. How could they possibly wish ill health on this nice old little lady? She probably can't even see well. But then this old lady looks up at the 31-year-old woman on the stand, and there is something about her beady little eyes. Her eyelids are drooping, which is a natural inconvenience that comes with aging. The look that she's giving the 31-year-old woman on the stand, it's a death glare. And then she picks up her hand, points a bony little finger at her, and spits, "You're a liar." The way she's going after this young woman, it is clear that they have history. And they do. It goes back 26 years to when the old lady Hua kidnapped and sold the woman on the stand. For the past 26 years, that little girl grew up and started hunting down her own trafficker.
61 is not even that old.
This is not an AI rendering. My mom's cousin's daughter sent this picture to my mom that she saw randomly on a post on Facebook of just old photographs. And she sent it to me. I thought she was joking around and that this was AI, but no. 1 second. Here's a side-by-side.
Okay.
We have the same eyes. We have the same nose. We have the same smirk, the same body type. What is... Look at our eyebrows. What is happening? I need to know who this is. I looked this picture up on Google Lens, and the only thing that I saw was a Reddit post saying that this was their grandma from 1910. I don't know how serious they were. And there was a post about Lily Duffy, maiden name Lily Nay Greer or something like that. Don't know the validity of these sources, but I'm not the only one seeing this, right? Do your thing. Whoever knows who this is, please reach out to me. I need to know who this is. I'm deathly ill right now and I'm making this video anyway because this is just...
There is resemblance, but you're not identical. What's the big deal?
19-year-old Lila went missing and was found dead 20 days later in a small room. Her body had swollen to twice its normal size and black fluid was seeping around her. The coroner confirmed Lila's identity through DNA testing.
Wow.
Lila was a cheerful and optimistic girl who loved sharing her life on social media. A boy named Jackson often showed interest in her, and Lila was drawn to his looks. They quickly started talking and arranged to meet. However, when they met, Lila realized all of Jackson's photos were fake. In reality, Jackson weighed 280 pounds and was 12 years older than her. Lila couldn't accept the truth and wanted to leave. Jackson tried to stop the breakup but reacted aggressively, insisting they stay together. He restricted Lila's freedom and impersonated her online to communicate with her family and friends. By the time Lila's family suspected something was wrong, she had already been dead for 20 days. The police have arrested Jackson and are conducting further investigations. Poor Lila, may you rest in peace.
Terrible. Rest in peace, Lila.
People with thin lips are not good people. This is something that my mom has been telling me for decades. That people with an upper lip that is thinner, almost disappears when they smile, are not good people. And I have always told my mom, you're just being superstitious. Because she is. She's superstitious. But the problem is, every time I see someone that has done something horrific, I always look at their lips.
Get out of here.
Especially the upper lip. And time after time, she proves to me that people with thin lips are not good people. Right now, this woman is on trial because of the death of her granddaughter. She forgot her granddaughter in the back seat of the car for 4 hours and then went inside the house and played the piano. After 4 hours, she realized that she had forgotten her granddaughter in the back seat of the car. Mind you, this is the first time she's babysitting her grandchildren after the death of her other grandson less than a year before. How did the grandson die? She was babysitting her grandson, took a nap, and her grandson walked out of the house through the back door and drowned in the near pond. There's something about people with thin lips. This is Letitia Stout. This is the stepmom that took the life of the stepchild in Colorado. Thin lips. I could go on and on. I don't know. Have you heard about the theory of thin lips? Because my mom swears by it.
Get out of here. You also have thin lips, lady. People with thin lips watching this video like, what? And now she's going to create new insecurities for, us. Leave people with thin lips alone.
Just take a seat for us. So right now, you are under arrest for the administration of poison. Child, you have the right to remain silent. You don't have to say anything, answer any questions, comments, stating allegations.
Why they blurring her face? And I pray the baby is okay. Wow. The aftermath. Ooh. Crazy. Stay safe and God bless everyone and the animals too. People gotta stop drinking cheap drink in shady bars, abroad. It's too risky. Stop drinking, period. Oh man. Look at that. Oh. Yay. Oh. This was in Turkey. God bless everyone.
Alguien adentro, espero que no haya nadie adentro, se está derrumbando.
That's terrifying, man. That is a dangerous job.
I don't know.
Anybody else that we're not allowed to talk about what's really going on in our world? We're not allowed to talk about what's actually unfolding behind closed doors. We can't talk about Maui. We can't talk about North Carolina, and soon we won't be able to talk about LA. We're not supposed to know about the flood insurance that was canceled before North Carolina, and we're not supposed to know about the fire insurance that was canceled before LA. We can't talk about the color blue, and we definitely can't talk about the cities that are coming. We are not allowed to talk about what is really going on in our world. We can't talk about the shipping containers. We can't talk about why celebrities always look so young. We can't talk about what happens in the tunnels, and we definitely can't talk about what happens every single day beneath our feet. We can't talk about what is really going on in our world. Our world is not as it seems. Everybody that you see, that you look up to, our politicians, our celebrities, Hollywood, is not as it seems. Evil is running this world, and it is soon coming to a head, and Satan will step out onto center stage. The beast system is getting set up right in front of our eyes, and we are not allowed to talk about it.
Keep speaking the truth, sister.
This haircut hero dashed out mid-trim to help the police. Kyle Whitting was enjoying a haircut when he saw a man clobbering a police officer to the floor. Without hesitation, he leapt from the barber's chair and ran to save the officer with the barber's cape still round his neck. Kyle, 32, pulled the man off the officer before backup arrived and detained the man in Warrington. The man was arrested and has since been placed in the care of health professionals.
Not all heroes wear capes, but this one does. Well done. Bro. Is someone really filming, or is it CCTV? You know, never loan money to friends or family. Give it or don't. Maybe Ellie Carter isn't that crazy, folks. Person that fell under the, you know, the guardrail, okay? I don't understand why people are abandoning cars. How much will this cost the U.S.?
I'm waiting here because I sense God pulling people. You're not too late. You're not too late. Come forward. You'll find room.
Never too late.
You're not too late.
Lord Jesus, please heal Los Angeles.
He's been running around. He's got mobility, but I think it's just that fence over there. Think you'll be okay here?
Yeah, so He's surrounded by DG, so he's good in here. It'd be safer if we keep him in here so he doesn't run and get hit by ninja.
Yep.
We're gonna keep him here.
Oh man.
We gotta.
Why? I mean, you know, who would leave their host trapped like this? Just open all the gates.
What if they were using network clocks to make time go faster, to make us work more and produce more value? You guys know how chickens are tricked into laying more eggs by using light systems to make them believe that time is going faster, in turn making them lay more eggs, and not just a little bit, a lot more eggs. Well, this man did an experiment where he put his phone on airplane mode and found out that 8 months had gone by on his laptop hooked to the network, as he shows in this video.
December 22nd, 2024, but this watch is only, this clock here, which is on its own network time, has been on airplane mode for the same amount of time, right? A year and change, but the last messages sent were in November, which means I must have turned it off mid-November 2023. And there's a huge time discrepancy. There's at least an 8-month time difference here, a lag on phones that are kept on airplane mode. So the internal clock, what it tells us is the internal clock is running much slower than network.
Just to clarify, this isn't verified, but you can clearly see that this phone that was put on airplane mode has the date April 7th, and his iPad on network says December 22nd. It makes me look at these chickens in a whole different light.
Days have been flying by, you notice?
This is an engine. I'm assuming it came out of a craft, a big one, by the size, proportional differences, probably 300 feet plus, the length of a football field. Well, therefore, it's got occupants. What in God's name you done with them? Well, that was the wrong thing to say, because they are up on the engine coming after me, and it's time to leave. Well, when I bend down to get off the engine, I put my hands back on the engine. Something interesting. Instead of the nice, smooth wave lines, they would now look like small tornadoes coming off all my fingertips, moving through the metal. And I pulled my hands back, put them back on. There they were, but they were starting to calm down a little bit. And then I realized what this thing was.
What?
They grabbed hold of me, the Air Force guys did. We got back in the golf cart and we were riding back up to the surface. And I was sitting there thinking, I just realized what this engine is. It's a symbiotic engine. The engine is alive. It is an engine that's capable. The reason they couldn't figure out the firing order is that the tubing that was cascading all over its body looked like the same pattern you would have from a brainstem of a neurosynaptic ordering firing order. So what's happening is when the pilots sit down in their seats, their thought waves drive the engine. When I first touched the engine, I was curious and awed by it. The wavelengths were smooth off my fingers. When I was getting down from it, I was totally angry. The engine was not picking up radiation heat waves. It was picking up mental thought energy. That engine is capable of a symbiotic relationship with the pilots. That's why they couldn't figure out the firing order. They said there was no wiring or circuitry. No, the pilots' brains are the wiring and the circuitry. The engine needs them in order to do all of its functions. In return, the pilots know exactly what the engine feels and how the spacecraft feels. The entire craft is probably symbiotic. Now, before you sit there and blow this off like it's just a bunch of science fiction, let me bring you up to date here to current events. I just left Princeton University. There's a Dr. John up there, Robert John, and he runs the Pear Research Institute. They have a contract from McDonnell Douglas, you ever heard of them? Small aerospace company, to build mental shielding for firing systems on the new F-22 fighters. A fighter that is so sensitive, when he straps on his helmet, just like the Apache helicopter, you turn your head this way, the gun mounts follow your head. This firing system now links to your brain. Foxfire, Clint Eastwood. Where do you think the Hollywood's getting their ideas? McDonnell Douglas is under construction building a symbiotic relationship firing control system. Where did they get their idea? I wonder. Could have been back in June 1971, and God knows how long they've had this engine. However, it's reality. We have symbiotic engines in aeronautics. We're moving into that area right now with the F-22 and beyond.
You know, both the fallen angels and demons can move in and out of our reality and take many different types of slaves, such as humans and animals.
I'm here in the Nag Hammadi Desert. This is the approximate location where in 1945 a farmer and shepherd named Muhammad Ali, not that Muhammad Ali, a different Muhammad Ali, while looking for fertilizer with a number of his companions, uncovered a large earthenware jar. That jar eventually was discovered within its contents a number of key proto-Gnostic and Gnostic writings from the 3rd and 4th century. Chief amongst its contents was what we now refer to as the Gospel of Thomas. The Gospel of Thomas and the other documents within the Nag Hammadi library would start to change the landscape and the conversations about what we have in our Bible and whether we actually have the right books to begin with.
The young woman
We have the right books. The Holy Spirit, doesn't make mistakes.
you see here kneeling with her arms firmly gripped by the 2 officers on each side is only 26 years old. This will be her last day alive. You can see the fear in her eyes as the verdict is read by this female judge.
That's crazy.
And on her way to the final place, she's so afraid that both of her legs have lost their senses and the officers end up having to carry her. Now, before I tell you what she did, let's rewind the clock back to 1983 when this footage was filmed. The country just launched what would become a nearly 4-year campaign called Yanda in Mandarin, or Strike Hard in English. The country was being torn apart by violent crime, especially against women. Society was coming undone. More than 10 years of the Cultural Revolution was coming home to roost as a generation of young men and women were deprived of a proper education and unemployment was through the roof. Major violent crime cases were rising by more than 50% every year in the early 80s. Women couldn't walk the streets safely at night, and drastic measures were needed. And Yanda was born. Criminals were rounded up all over the country. Even minor crimes like getting into a drunken brawl or petty theft were met with speedy trials, and sentences were handed out on the spot, and far harsher than usual to set an example. Now back to this young woman. Her name was Hu Xianhua. She was convicted of a crime called hooliganism. What did she do? She had relationships with multiple men at once, many of whom were married, and engaged in the O word. Today it's not a crime. Hell, we call it a normal Tuesday for Lily P and Bonnie B, but in 1983, she ran into Yanda. One of the most poetic sayings in Mandarin comes from one of the greatest books of the 20th century. It goes, "A tiny speck of dust in the wrong era can crush a man like a mighty mountain." Well, in this case, the era crushed a young woman. Now, Yanda did what it was supposed to do. Crime rates fell drastically and order was restored. But I want each of you watching to remember, history is often full of melancholy. In the moment, you do the best you can. And unlike that day in 1983, they'll argue over your legacy in the years to come. Yet the final verdict?
Death.
It may never come. And that is why we love history.
Wow. But hey, normal Tuesday with Lily P and Bonnie B, said with a straight face.
The news is that the mothership has landed. The Galactic Federation is here. There's about to be a mass disclosure. Everyone in the world is about to find out that aliens are real, right?
No, they're not the Galactic Federation. They may have craft. There may be a mothership, but they don't come from other planets, other star systems. They're not going to help you ascend. We're not going to achieve 5D. They're not here to help us save the planet. They're not concerned about our nuclear capabilities. I don't care what Donald Trump says to you on January 21st. It doesn't matter. They're not aliens. They are here to steal, kill, and destroy. They are from the father of lies. They are demonic. They are fallen angels. Do they have real craft? Yes. Do they have physical bodies? Yes, they're inhabiting physical bodies. Demons can indwell physical skin suits, if you will.
Skin suits.
Fallen angels are physical in nature, but are they aliens? Alien life forms of higher intelligence from some other planet coming to save the day? No, they are not. No, they are not. They are from the father of lies, and they are here to steal, kill, and destroy, and deceive you. There is only one Savior. His name is Jesus Christ. He died on the cross. He was dead, buried, and resurrected for the payment of your sins.
Amen.
And he is the only way for salvation. When millions of people go missing very soon, it wasn't aliens that took us. It was Jesus. He took us home to the place that he had prepared for us so that we can be with him always. And when he returns, we'll be by his side. And we will rule and we will reign with him. But it's not the aliens that are coming to save you. It's Jesus. It's Jesus. It's time that you be found in him. Put your faith in him alone. Only Jesus can save you from what is to come. I know everybody feels it. The tension in the air, the expectation. Something is coming. Something is coming. Something is coming. Something is coming. The wrath of God is coming upon this earth very soon. The alien deception is part of it. Don't buy it. Don't believe it. Put your faith in Jesus Christ today.
Yes, yes.
He's coming for his church. He's coming to take us home before the wrath of God is poured out on this world for 7 years of the worst time the world has ever known. Worse than the flood. Worse than Sodom and Gomorrah. Worse than any other time you can think of. The Ice Age. Pompeii. Take all those things and make it worldwide for 7 years. And then it's worse. It's worse. Put your faith and trust in Jesus Christ today and be saved. The aliens won't save you. They're here to enslave you. They're demonic. Believe in Jesus and be saved.
If you have ear, hear. You know, the aliens will be the excuse they have when the rapture occurs.
I totally fucked up. I'm 5 years in Dubai, and I reached level. I was working hard few years, more than 12 hours in a day. Then I decided to leave. I decided to start something my own, and I lost everything. So right now I don't know what to do. I don't know how to leave, and I even don't know how to come back because I have nothing. I have no one and nothing. If people saying here it's easy, I don't know. I just lost. Until the end, I'm shy to say this to someone, but I lost.
You're gonna be okay, lady. Failure is the first step of success. Don't give up.
Rockefeller made the most money, $600 billion net worth. But in his 50s, he lost all his hair from stress. His hair fell out, and he said, all the money I've made hasn't compensated me for my stress. But who is the second richest guy in modern history? Carnegie. Carnegie. He made his first 5 or 10 million, and then he said, I will never work more than 2 hours a day. And he made a promise to himself, and he kept the promise. From about age 30 to the day he died, he never worked more than 2 hours. But he said, I will build something. You know, you hear the word now, mastermind. He called it brain trust. And he surrounded himself by these geniuses and said, we often didn't get along and we fought. But out of that brain trust, I only had to work 2 hours a day, and he died with 400 billion net worth.
I always tell people, be Carnegie, not Rockefeller.
I think King Solomon and Mansa Musa was the richest man in history. What do you think?
Do you want to know what cities like Los Angeles, California, Maui, Hawaii, Santiago, Chile, Valencia, Spain, and Catania, Italy have in common? Last year, it was announced that all of them would be smart cities, much like the city of Los Angeles. And coincidentally, each one of those cities experienced a devastating fire that destroyed millions and possibly billions of dollars. It's crazy that now smart cities are having a reputation of catching fire. And that should also beg the question, what other cities around where we live and around where you live are scheduled to be part of smart city movement? And just in case you're curious, some of these are major cities like San Jose, California, Cary, North Carolina, Dallas, Texas, Chicago, Illinois, Austin, Texas, Columbus, Ohio, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm not saying that any of this is going to happen in those cities. This is simply for informational purposes only, and I'm just trying to make people aware.
You forget Melbourne Coast, Australia. Oh man. Oh, it's crying. Please take good care of Mudeng. Smart. Look at that. Wow. That's awesome, sir. Wow, look at that.
It's gone.
All right. What's going on here? What are you doing, buddy? That cross is not gonna do anything. You're fake. Oh. He's screaming like a girl. You don't even say in the name of Jesus. You need to command the devils in the name of Jesus.
Now this is truly disturbing footage. Watch as Bianca Ellis, a killer, stalks a mother and her young child as they walk out of a grocery store. Notice how Bianca is carrying a knife with her. You won't even believe what happens next. The woman in that video was 32-year-old Bianca Devins. And after she walked off camera in that video, she stabbed the 3-year-old child to death and also stabbed the child's mother, Margot. The victim, 3-year-old Julian Wood, was a normal boy. And according to everyone reporting on this case, he and his mother had no connection to Bianca whatsoever. This was a completely random act of violence. Bianca can be seen in that extended security camera footage brandishing a knife while walking around the store, scoping out potential victims. And then, like I showed you at the beginning, towards the end, she identifies the mother and her son for some reason and follows them out to the parking lot where she stabbed them. Disturbingly, in a recent court appearance, Bianca can actually be seen smiling, laughing, and giggling as charges of murder are read against her. And like I said before, it's unknown why she carried out this attack, And prosecutors right now are saying this was a completely random act of violence. I'm going to keep you guys updated on the story here, but if you want to hear more true crime stories, listen to the podcast that I co-host with my wife, Courtney, Murder in America. It's available on all streaming platforms.
Seems like a hate crime to me. Hey, walking around the store with a knife in full view and no one found that disturbing? No one stopped that?
Just will say one last word, which is, I hope this is my last time at this podium, at least for a little while. I don't mean that in a negative sense. I mean, the only thing that would bring me back is an unexpected event in the next few days, which, as you all know, is totally possible given everything you've seen over the course of the past year.
Sounds like he knows something that we don't know. What's really creepy about this is how he's all giddy about it. Now, with that being said, I do not want this to come off like fear-mongering, but I want you guys to really depend upon the Lord like never before, drawing closer to him like never before, really. Focusing your eyes upon him, trusting in him, leaning upon him no matter what, understanding that this world will fade away, but the love of the Father shall endure forever. And I understand how there's plenty of accounts on here who push really scary, spooky things with spooky music, but at the end of the day, things are pretty scary, like legitimately, and that is how people are able to push fear-mongering. But we need to always rest on the gospel, knowing that your name is written in the Lamb's book of life if you have trusted and believed upon Jesus for eternal life, the gospel. So please, guys, again, I'm all for conspiracy theories. As you guys know, my videos, the times that we live in, the chaos that looks like is going to ensue soon, but we have the rock that we have built our life on, Jesus Christ. There's no fear in him.
No fear.
He does not give us the spirit of fear, but the spirit of power, love, and a sound mind, all right? So keep your eyes focused upon him, draw closer to him and others, carry each other's burdens, so to fulfill the law of Christ, which is the law of love, Galatians 6:2, loving one another, growing together, discipling each other. Again, if you guys do not know right now, check out livebyfaithtoday.org. That is the ministry page, ministry website that me and my wife run. Join one of our fellowship groups. Let's connect and encourage and edify the body during these crazy times so that we can all go be salt and light in this dark world, sharing the gospel and spreading love and faith and hope.
Amen.
I love you guys all so much. We will see what happens next week. It's going to be wild. It's going to be interesting, and we won't even have TikTok to talk about it, but I want to try to relay this information for you guys, not what to think, but how to think, to be suspicious of everything, to pray for discernment and wisdom, navigating this crazy world. Love you all. God bless. Remember, the just shall live by faith.
A British man is being investigated in Thailand after the decomposing body of a prostitute was discovered in his hotel room, and he claims he didn't notice that she was dead. Barabitek was seen kissing and holding hands with Dungta Kampung Song as he took her to his room in Pacha on December 18th. She was not seen alive again. A few days later, a caretaker discovered a bad smell coming from the room, leading to the discovery of her body. Bara was found at a nearby bar. He told police he was aware of the body but didn't file a report as he did not know she was dead. He's denied killing or harming the woman, and police are continuing to question him.
All dirty men going over there to take advantage, of the woman over there should be banned regardless. Wow. How much do you pay for a pet in business class? Do you pay the same price for people or less?
This is how you launder money using art for educational purposes only. So money laundering isn't always just taking dirty cash and getting it in the bank. In many cases, that dirty money can already be in a bank account. Like we spoke about in other videos, maybe you made a load of money from tax fraud. Or maybe you've arranged a deal to sell oil with part of the payment made under the table into a bank account controlled by you. So in these jobs, you've got money in the bank, but it's not necessarily money that you can use, because you can't explain the source of the money without incriminating yourself. So once again, this is where you might approach someone like Sam, who's a character in the TV show I'm producing called Tokens. Now this guy is the king of white collar crime, and this is how he would help you, hypothetically. But Sam would find a painting, something like this, and this painting is going to be sold at a reputable auction house. And let's say its guide price is £500,000. So in auctions where in the back you've got people on the phone bidding on behalf of someone else, kind of like this,
With Jackie Walker first, it's not yours online. It's here on the phone at 550,000, 600,000 with Wendy.
So Sam's going to send someone to do that, acting on behalf of someone, acting on behalf of you. This way, he can add a few layers of secrecy to hide your identity. So now it's auction time, and Sam's going to bid the price of that art up to £1 million, double what it's worth. And because of that, you're obviously going to win the auction. And so through a number of shell companies that Sam set up for you, you're going to get your payment sent over to the auction house, so you can leave with the art. But you're not going to just pay import taxes, take it home and hang it on your wall. No, you're going to get it sent here, tax-free. So this is Geneva Freeport in Switzerland, and it's basically a super secure storage warehouse for art and antiques from around the world. The value of art inside this warehouse is upwards of $100 billion, and no one really knows exactly what's inside. The place is massive and extremely secretive. So free ports are basically tax-free zones with minimal regulation. Goods can change hands without ever leaving the free port and without taxes ever being paid. Completely legally. It's basically impossible to keep up with who the real owner of the art is. Okay, so now you've got this super expensive piece of art that's sat inside this free port. How do you get your clean money that you can use? You've got two options. One, you could sell the art at a discount, let's say for 900 grand, and then get paid by bank transfer. And the money is completely clean because you can show that you got it by selling an asset. Or option two is that you use the loan as collateral to get a loan from a major bank. And on paper, there are no cleaner funds than those. Anyway, tokens coming soon. Follow me for more.
The art of money laundering, wouldn't be a better title. Bro wasn't ready for heaven. AI. Oh no. Are you all related? Oh, oh, oh. Back to her phone conversation like, child, anyway, so.
This cursed family took the lives of over 1,000 people. This is the true story of Wrong
Oh.
Turn. In the 1950s, in the small town of Ravens Hollow, Ohio, there was a family called the Crow family. The Crows lived in an old house on the edge of Ravenwood Forest. People in town hated them because of their looks, saying they were strange and didn't belong. One night, the townspeople set fire to their house, thinking they were getting rid of a curse, but the Crow family survived. They disappeared into the forest, angry and broken. From that day on, they swore revenge. Years later, people began to vanish near Ravenwood Forest. Hikers, travelers, even townsfolk. Survivors say the Crows hunt and eat people as payback for what the town did to them. They hunt anyone who enters the forest, setting deadly traps, pits lined with spikes, hidden bear traps, and hanging wire nooses. They laugh when they hunt, and they drag their victims underground to eat them. The only thing they leave behind is a bloody crow feather. In the 1980s, a girl named Emily escaped after her friends disappeared while camping. She said the crows whispered as they chased her, "You burned us, now we burn you." Today, no one goes near Ravenwood Forest. Locals say you can still hear laughter and snapping twigs in the dark. If you see a crow feather at the forest's edge, don't go in. The Crow family is still waiting hungry for revenge.
No movie is worse than The Hills Have Eyes. I don't care what I see on this app. You'll never, convince me otherwise. Wow. How does something like that even happen? They're so ridiculous that they don't, maintain the equipment. What? That piece of glass is 21,000? That's the crime. She probably seen your dad.
For those of you who don't know 17 or who question 17, let me show you exactly what full control looks like.
And as of today, TikTok is back.
At what time did Trump take the stage during today's rally?
What?
Exactly at 5:17, which is 1717 military time. And at what time did Trump end his speech? Exactly at 6:17 p.m. And just how long was TikTok down for? Exactly 17 hours.
Wow.
How many U.S. employees does TikTok have? Exactly 17,000. And how many U.S. users does TikTok have?
170 million Americans who use our platform every day.
Exactly 170
Wow.
million. How many more coincidences before it becomes mathematically impossible? And like TikTok CEO, enjoy the show.
You know, I'm usually on point with a lot, but I don't understand the 17. Can someone fill me in, please?
Alright, it's about to get real, finally. By the way, we'll come right back to this. So we have Stephen Greer back in the headlines, and he is now saying within 72 hours that all of his whistleblowers are going to come forward. Whistleblowers. I'm about to play it for you real quick, 1 second, then we're going to go into some other really weird things. But I want to put you in remembrance of things that he has said real quick. He has said that we have extraterrestrials living in captivity among men. And even further, he drew a line saying that some people aren't people at all, but they're those extraterrestrials. Those pesky ETs.
We have a group of people who are in the process in the next 72 hours or so who will be coming forward with a great deal of information and evidence related to the UFO and NHI or extraterrestrial issue.
Oh, it's an issue, is it? Or maybe y'all are creating an issue? So this, what I showed you earlier, is actually this lady was outside, she's seeing orbs in the sky, and she saw the orb transform into a face. ETs or spiritual evil. But you guys, the grand scheme of this entire thing is so much bigger, it's so much more than one person. By the way, this is a video behind me of 100,000 foot. Just telling you that for no reason at all whatsoever. Because of course the organizations obsessed with space are completely irrelevant from anything I'm saying. The same exact ones that provide all our imagery. So I wonder what's gonna happen in 72 hours when his whistleblowers come and they tell the truth. That extraterrestrials from outside of space are here with us. And that there's not some spiritual wickedness going around. And this spiritual wickedness is most certainly not going to take us to the North Pole to make us attack something we know nothing about. Two places, just two places that we cannot go. Look down south, definitely don't look up north. Don't be deceived when you see every person, every political establishment, and every organization all come together. This won't make sense to a lot of you, but to some it will. Nah, I'm just being stupid.
If it really happens, do not be deceived. Fallen angels.
This is Dr. Stephen Greer, and this is the first episode of our podcast, the Dr. Stephen Greer podcast. And the reason we're starting this podcast now, rather emergently here today, is because we have a group of people who are in the process in the next 72 hours or so who will be coming forward with a great deal of information and evidence related to the UFO and NHI or extraterrestrial issue. And I think the public is going to need to have a source of perspective and context and analysis to go to. And so I feel that this is the time for me to start a podcast like this. We're going to be eager to let everyone, put the word out that we're doing this, because I think without the context and interpretation, understanding, there'll be too many opportunities for the disclosure of this information to be manipulated, go sideways, and create all kinds of confusion. So I think when we do these, we're going to try to do them every week if possible. I'll be traveling a great deal with what's happening, but we have a portable setup here, and we'll just kind of do it on the road when I'm traveling. So we're going to keep all of you up to date, at least on a weekly basis, and maybe more than that if there are further breaking events. And one thing I'd like to ask everyone to do is to share the link to this podcast with everyone else and put it up on sites so it gets the widest information out. One of the things that we've been doing just leading up to this, for those of you who are new to the Disclosure Project, I just want to introduce what we've been doing for the last 34 years. I was a young a medical emergency and trauma doctor when I started this project, and it's evolved. And a little bit of background might be helpful for you guys. When I first started it, the intent was to initiate a program where humans would make contact with these civilizations that are non-human who are visiting here in a context of peace and to advance the relationships between humans and these other life forms of what's now called NHI, or non-human intelligence. Within about a year or two, I was approached by people in the intelligence community and the U.S. government about the problem, and some of them were hostile to what we were doing for reasons we'll unpack in subsequent episodes, and some were wanting to help. And so in the early years of the Clinton administration, I was asked to brief the incoming director of the CIA for President Bill Clinton, and that subsequently led to a number of things you're going to hear about with initiatives that began then and are now, ironically, going full circle and culminating now this week and in the months to follow.
You know, if it doesn't happen by this Monday, Greer is canceled forever.
I want all of you to do yourself a favor and research Scott Bryson. He is a retired Secret Service agent. I want you to take a look at his video and his take on the events that happened down in Louisiana, and coincidentally, at the same time, happened in Las Vegas, Nevada. He makes it extremely clear, as a professional of 25 years, that he does not believe in coincidences. And then I want all of you to head over to the interview of Sarah Adams. You've got to hear the words that are coming out of her mouth about what's to come. And we are only 2 days in to the new year, and they are absolutely wasting no time. If you actually follow the professionals and listen to what they have to say, I don't have a real good feeling about this. If there's half truth to any of this, you should be ready to protect yourself. You should be ready to protect your family. You should be ready to protect your loved ones. You should be ready at any given moment to step up and defend your families. Now, I'm not saying you should stop living. I'm not saying that you should go into hiding. I'm not saying that you should stop living your life. I'm just saying that you must be aware of your surroundings. And until further notice, the midnight suggestion is to keep away from populated areas, areas of interest, areas where people are gathering around and building very large crowds to be compromised and manipulated. God bless you. God bless your families. God bless our president. And God bless the United States of America.
I watched the Sarah Adams interview. It is unbelievable, you know, at what is going on. And I'm from Bali.
One gang in particular, I was sent there for a weekend for 24 hours, and my father spoke to the gang leader. So it was a young, new gang member who was being initiated. So here I was, an 11-and-a-half-year-old girl,
Oh, man.
taken into the gang headquarters and left for 24 hours. I was so badly beaten. There's a little myth out there that the gangs are led by heavily tattooed Māori or Pacifica. No. They're walking around in three-piece business suits. They're leaders across all of our industries. So the Masons, the gangs and the Catholic Church and the other churches are quite complicit in all of it.
God bless your poor soul, brave woman.
1986, when Parker first said to me, "They look like people," I should have noticed something was wrong sooner. The way he'd stare at strangers for too long, his hand trembling around his coffee cup. How he started taking different routes to work, avoiding certain people on the street. "They're not people," he finally told me one night, his voice barely a whisper. "I can see them now, what they really are. They're in people costumes." I thought he was having a breakdown, called his parents, made appointments with therapists he wouldn't go to. Then I found the notebooks in our basement, pages filled with names, dates, locations, details about the bodies, how he disposed of them in the river, how he was on a special mission, how he was a warrior for God, all written in a strange, almost foreign language or code. He thought he could see demons all around us. I finally understood. I called the police. What else could I do? They found evidence of 12 murders. 12 families got closure. Parker went to prison. I moved away, changed my name, and started therapy. But sometimes now I see things, little details that don't add up. The way my neighbor smiles at me for too long, how the mailman twitches when he waves at me, the strange marks on the back of their ears, like stitches holding their face on their skull. Last week I found one of Parker's old notebooks I'd missed. The last page had a list of signs to watch for, irregular breathing patterns, slight delays in blinking, the smell of sulfur in their presence. My therapist has all of these. I've started taking different routes to work. I understand now why Parker's hands shook so much. They're in people costumes, watching us, measuring us up, to wear us, and we're completely outnumbered. They're everywhere. They look like people.
You know, it reminds me of the movie called They Live.
How's it going? Huh?
Ah.
You're lost? Where are you trying to go? How can I help you?
Is there a trailhead nearby?
Where are you trying to go? I can help you get there. Where are you coming from?
Man.
Do you know a trail over by a neighborhood, like directly that way?
I know lots of trails. I live here. How can I help you? And where are you going and where are you coming from?
Oh. I'm trying to get off the trail.
Bro, he's slow.
To where? Where I can help you, but I don't. You have to help me understand where you're going.
Well, sir, I'm actually not from here.
I can tell. So where do you want to go?
I have a flight out tomorrow. If I can just get off the trail, I'll probably head back down to San Diego.
What are you doing up here?
My son lives here.
Who's your son?
I'd rather not say.
Why?
I just don't think it's pertinent information.
Okay. Yeah, there's a way out of here if you, I mean, I can, there's a couple ways out. I don't know which way you want to go.
Well, the original idea coming out this way was to hike eastward and then kind of come down in Santa Monica.
Santa Monica. Where's your flight leaving from?
San Diego.
Dude. All right, show him the way.
Yeah, it's definitely closed to anybody. Like, it's closed to people. Yeah. If you don't live here, you're not supposed to be here right now. There's a curfew, and Yeah, no. I mean, it's a little suspicious. I'm just gonna let you know that, you know? You're hiking around with a backpack in a fire zone, following a bulldozer who's the last man out of here, you know? It's a little suspicious, bro. What's in your backpack?
Basically traveling kit. Definitely not any like lighter fluid or anything of the sort.
If I come over there and I find lighter fluid, man, you're not gonna like how it ends, bro. Well, we can go two ways, bro. Okay, look, I'm a nice human being, but if you're lighting fires up here, bro, like...
You don't seem like a nice human being.
I don't?
Seems like you're trying to cost me.
No, I'm just trying to do what's good for my community, sir.
Mister, I don't know what that means.
I don't know, you know, no offense, bro. I'm kind of done with
Everyone needs to carry zip ties, you know, to subdue these arsonists.